We were looking at loading data sets in Stata. We first looked at how do you load external data files in Stata, like Excel files. And then we looked at how do we load internal data files in Stata, like DTA files. So when we were doing this, initially, we looked when we were loading these data sets, we were using the full file path of the file you wanted to open. So here we use the full file path of this particular file that you wanted to open. Similarly, over here, when we're opening this DTA file, we specify the full file path of this particular file. We now want to see when loading data sets in Stata, do we always need to use full file path, right? Do we need to specify the full file path like we have specified over here or like we specified over here? So do we need this full file path? So now method one is obviously you do use full file path, but this is the least efficient method. Method two uses the concept of what we call a current working directory. Now, current working directory is the default folder which Stata looks for and saves files if you don't specify file path. So if you just give the Stata the name of the file when opening it or importing it, so what Stata is going to do is it's going to look for in this default folder. And if this file is present inside it, it will open it. Otherwise, to open that file, it will need a file path, right? Because if it's not inside the default folder it's supposed to look at, you need to tell Stata where the file is located. So if a file is located inside the current working directory, the default folder where Stata looks for files, then you can open and load the data set by just giving Stata the name of the file because it's already in the folder where Stata looks for by default. But if it's not, then you need to tell Stata the full file path where the file is located because it's not in the folder where it will look for by default. So the second method is that what you do is you use the command cd to change your current working directory to where your file is located, so that when you're telling Stata to open it, you can just give the Stata the name of the file because it's located inside the folder which Stata will look for by default. If it's not located in the folder which Stata will look for by default, then you need to tell Stata what the entire path is so that it can open the file from there. What is the syntax for changing current working directory? So you use cd and then double quotation marks, you give the path of the folder where data sets are saved. Once you do that, if you want to open any file that's located inside this folder, you can just tell Stata what the name of that file is because it's located inside the folder which Stata looks for by default. If it's not, then Stata won't be, if that file is, if you just give a name of a file which is not located in your current working directory, Stata will not be able to open it because it's not located inside the folder which Stata looks for by default. So you need to tell Stata the entire path where Stata could open it from. So now PWD gives you your present working directory. So if I do PWD, so this tells Stata the current working directory is documents folder, and the current working directory is also visible over here, like we can see in the lower left-hand corner of Stata. And then I can also use the command dir to see the files that are present inside this present working directory. These are the files for which when opening them, if you just specify the name, Stata can open them without a file path because they're located inside the folder which Stata looks for by default. If you're trying to open a file with just the file name and that's not present inside this current working directory, Stata will not be able to open it because it's not where it's in the folder where it looks for by default. So you need to tell Stata the entire path where the file is located. But we can change the current working directory. Now let's look at this particular file, string functions 2, right? And this is its entire file path. Now notice this is located inside desktop, but my current working directory is documents. So if I try to tell Stata, open this file without specifying the file path, Stata will not be able to do it because it's not located inside the folder which Stata looks for by default, right? So if I try to do this, notice it's saying file not found because where is Stata trying to find it? Stata is trying to find in documents, which is its current working directory, but it's not present there. So Stata can't open it unless you give Stata the entire path where it's located. So if you try to open a file without a file path and that's not in your current working directory, Stata will not be able to open it because it's not in the folder where it's supposed where Stata will look for by default. You need to tell Stata in that case the full file path, or what you can do is you can change the current working directory. So let's change the current working directory to the folder where this is located. So I'm doing cd and I'm changing the current working directory to the folder where this is located. So I change the current working directory. And now if I do pwd, I can see now the present working directory is desktop and it's also visible in the lower left corner here. Now, if I do the same thing, I specify the file name without file path, Stata will open it. It has opened the data set. Why did it work this time? It worked this time because now I changed the current working directory to desktop where this file is located. So now it's in the folder where Stata looks for by default. So Stata can open it without a file path. Initially, it did not work because this was not located in the folder where Stata looks for by default. So for Stata to open it, Stata needs the file path. But now that I've changed the current working directory to where it's located, I can open it without specifying file path. So when you're opening data files in Stata, if that file is located in the current working directory where Stata looks for files by default, you can open it by just specifying the file name. Otherwise, you will have to, if you try to open a file with just the file name, which is not in your current working directory, Stata can't open it like we saw here because it's not in the folder where it's supposed to look for by default. So you need to then tell it what is the file path it needs to look at the file for.